I needed a quick, cheap and reliable phone. That's when I stumbled across this, the Samsung A06. There's 3 versions of this phone, which I'll dig into in this video to help you match the best spec for your budget. Released in August last year, this entry-level phone, which is almost the direct copy of its previous self, may actually be worth getting, especially if you're looking for something that gets the job done but doesn't break the bank. A little of a spoiler alert though, the previous gen, the A05, might actually be a better buy. But later in this video, I'll give a full comparison graph of the A05 and the A06 and all the prices I could find. I'll also leave the best links down below in the description for you to decide whether you're picking up the A06 or the A05. So straight out of the box, what you get is, you guessed it, a phone and its charging cable. But sadly, no charging block. You see, Samsung doesn't give charging bricks with their flagship phones, and they also don't give them with their not flagship phones. So if you don't already have a charging brick laying around at home, I don't know, it's 2025, why don't you have a charging brick at home? But don't buy the wrong brick. Here is an example of a right brick to buy. Don't buy this one. I'll leave the right links in the description down below. Like, all of the cool stuff is in the description down below. The summaries, the frequently asked questions, the link to our Discord channel, and obviously the cheapest links to the products that I review in my videos. Or should I say our videos? Because this phone review was actually requested by one of our subscribers on our Discord channel. So if you're interested in getting a specific review for a product, please do ask us on our Discord channel. We actually do them. The slogan here at We Do Tech is, we spend the money, sometimes wasting it, so you don't have to. So thank you very much for contributing. Thank you very much for being a subscriber, because that's the only way you guys actually have to contribute to making this channel better. And I really appreciate it. You guys are rocking it. Now, let's continue with the review of the A06. Now, design-wise, this phone is minimalistic. You get a single rear camera paired with a depth sensor and an LED flash. The phone is plastic all round, although the back does have a very nice texture to it, with the only trade-off being fingerprint madness. I mean, look at this. What on earth? Despite the plastic build, it doesn't feel like another cheap phone. The A06 is actually extremely sturdy and with little to no flex, unless you're trying to turn it into the new Z Flip. But even then, like, it's really sturdy. The volume and power buttons, which does have a little fingerprint reader in as well, is on the right-hand side, built on a little bevel, and that makes it really comfortable to actually get to. You don't miss them because you have these invisible sensory signalers showing you where to click. It's really nice. On the front, we also have a centered camera, and in 2025, the most surprising thing, an audio jack, which is nice to see, seeing as Samsung has already started taking these out on some of their other A-series devices. Taking this little clip actually reminded me of back in the old days where I sat with the auxiliary cable and I just held it at a specific angle to be able to still hear the music. I mean, yeah, do you guys remember that? Am I too old? I'm not that old. I was a 1997 baby, but I mean, that's not old, right? I'm not old. You're old. You also get a USB-C charger. That's nice. Thank you, Samsung. Apple, catch up with the times. They did, luckily. They were forced to, but anyways. Feeling this is actually the worst part about this phone. So right here on the edges at the back, the bevel of the frame itself and the back plate comes in perfectly angular. But what that then does is it creates a little paper cut-like feeling. Unfortunately, it feels really, really sharp. It's not perfectly flush, and I think that's probably the actual reason why it feels so sharp. It's because the back plate itself doesn't sit 100% flush with the frame. Yeah, that is it. And that's why it hurts my fingers every time I touch it. So I would recommend just throwing on a silicone cover over this thing. It's anyways a good choice because, well, it's not the most durable design you'll ever find, so don't be stupid and just rock it around like this. Just put a cover on it. But geez, that really is sharp, man. Can't get over it. Other than that, it really looks great. It's a beautiful design, and anyways, for a phone of this price, it's what's on the inside that counts. So let's talk about the inside, the performances, the specs, the benchmarks. Will this actually be a usable phone? That's the real question. check. Occasional testing, check. Blockbuster YouTube, check. Games, eh. The Samsung A06 comes in 3 models. The one I have here is the 64GB with 4GB of RAM. There's a more powerful version than this one, the 128GB with 6GB of RAM, and an A06 5G. After taking a look at the A05 and the one I have here, the battery, the processor, even the features, they don't differ that much. Makes you think about the price for this one versus the A05. The screen of the A06 is a pretty standard 6.7-inch 720p LCD screen. It takes you back to the basics of what a phone screen should be. Don't expect to see iPhone colors and blacks and depths. It's just a decent, normal LCD screen. The screen itself goes bright enough outside and dim enough inside. To sum it up in one word, it's decent. Now, just like most entry-level phones, it does feel like this one is slightly slower than what I'm used to in my premium iPhone. I'm actually an Apple guy. I do shit on them a lot, but I just find it so comfortable to be able to use all of my devices together. That's something that a Samsung offers, by the way. When you're getting a budget device, they offer an ecosystem. That's another reason some people opt to buy a Samsung instead of another cheap phone, because they still get full integration, even though it is budget friendly. I noticed while using this phone that it's slightly delayed. The apps just don't feel as quick and as snappy. The 60Hz refresh rate doesn't do much against it, although the iPhones are also 60Hz, so I don't really notice that. What I did notice though is navigating between the pages, clicking on the apps, there's a little bit of a delay opening it and navigating the screen. My biggest concern here is that I already noticed this, and this phone's brand new. It didn't actually already start getting all of the bloatware on it, the extra apps and bunch of things. I have WhatsApp, I have my social medias, and that's what I have on the phone. So if you start loading games and other softwares, it might start being even slower. And it's just simply because it isn't a top tier phone, and that's fine. It runs a massive operating system. And with massive, I mean really up-to-date software and UIs run on this thing. It still handles it pretty decently for the chip that it has inside of it. And that's when I'll actually make a recommendation here. Get the little bit stronger version if you can. It's a small bump in price, but quite a big upgrade. Although if this is just going to be a secondary phone, or perhaps it just has to get the job done, it'll get the job done. And I have to clarify, it's not terrible. If you use it enough, you become accustomed to it. You get used to it. It doesn't stand out and become frustratingly slow. It's just I noticed it, and I want to give you a full representation of what this phone is. The 5000 mAh battery inside of this though is impressive. The phone can handle 13 hours and 50 minutes of active use time. Although no charging block is included, while testing it with various different types of Type-C chargers I have around here in the office, I got 43% charge after only 30 minutes. So getting the right charging brick is a good idea, and knowing that your phone can basically charge to halfway full in 30 minutes is fantastic. And that's where we have to move on to the camera. The second most important thing people look at after the screen. I mentioned earlier you get a 50 megapixel main rear camera paired with both a depth sensor and an 8 megapixel front camera. Before you get excited, I know it sounds impressive, but it really isn't that impressive. And the reason therefore is called pixel binning. Even though it has a 50 megapixel rear camera, it only hits to about 12.5 megapixel after it's done. You can manually change it back to 50 megapixels, but even then the colors on the image are they're at most subpar. Looks a little bit washed out in good lighting, and it's kind of worse in not so good lighting. Don't get me wrong, it's probably enough for the average user just wanting to capture memories and go on with their lives, show the people they know what happened in their lives. It's not going to make you a social media superstar. You definitely can't use this to make proper YouTube videos. This is a daily driver for a person who needs something to fill the hole right now. As for video, 1080p 30 frames per second, which is more than enough for most people. Just be prepared though, it does the typical Samsung over sharpening, and it also doesn't have built-in stabilization, which is a strange concept to me in a phone of 2025. So your videos will be a little bit more shaky than you think they will be. It's not the end of the world. You're just not going to be a videographer or a photographer or any media pro with this device, and I think that's fine. This is a daily driver, gets the job done phone. And video and audio go hand in hand. So there's only one rear-facing speaker on this device, so you don't have stereo speakers. And also it doesn't have bass at all. It's just, it's loud enough. Here, have a listen. It's just, it does the job. The A06 comes preloaded with Android 14, which is similar to what the newer, higher tier phones run on. It even runs a slightly dumbed down version of Samsung's One UI 6.1. Understandably, obviously, just the processor cannot handle a full version of the 6.1. Galaxy AI extras also come out of it. The only thing it actually doesn't have is the AI options. Crazy, right? It's entry level, but it's not that bad. The MediaTek Helio G85 coupled with only 4 GB of RAM though, that's probably why I experienced my slow and jagged feeling while using the phone. I do think getting the 6 GB RAM version would have been smarter. So maybe in this video I actually wasted my money instead of like not wasting it. Great, that's fun. I'll just use this for a second phone though. I actually use this phone. For real. And that brings us to the final answer in this video. Is it worth buying the A06 in 2025? Yes. Especially if you can get it for a good deal. I'll find the best deal and put it in the description down below. It's got all of the new softwares on it. It runs a full Samsung UI. It's got a good enough camera. It's got good enough audio. It has an audio jack, USB Type-C, very good Wi-Fi module in it. I run my WhatsApps off of it. I run my social medias off of it. I do think for a day-to-day driver, it's not a bad buy. Think of it like fast food, cheap, convenient, and fills the gap. If you're buying your first phone like this, not a bad buy. If you're buying this for a secondary backup, not a bad buy. If you're upgrading from the A05 to the A06, I think you're gonna waste your time. It's the same phone, just a little bit facelifted. If you're looking for the budget of this, go for the A05. It's, like I said, almost the same thing. I hope this video gave you value. I'll see you in the next video. Please do remember to subscribe. We're at 103,000 subscribers right now. It's crazy. Mind equals blown. Love you guys. See you. Cheers. Bye.